For centuries, the pattern of community life in England showed little change. The farms, the manor house, the church, the inn, the village. And so we find it sometimes today, off the car-beaten track. 900 years ago, Birmingham was just a village, a few houses with bridle tracks winding across the open fields. Over the years, the community grew and flourished. The bridle tracks became the city streets we know today. New Street, High Street, Digbeth, Moore Street, to name just a few.
Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Brummie Dave, the aged Brummie rocker. Now I'll be watching Andy's videos. He's been coming on here with some stupid cartoon character, saying this is Brummie Dave. And it wasn't Brummie Dave, it was him doing a stupid accent. And I said to him, why you do that for? It's obvious it's not you, because you bloody got a cartoon. You know, you've got a cartoon, it's because it's not you. I mean, it's bloody obvious, isn't it? And so I said to him, why don't you have me on? Just give us a slot. All I'm asking is a slot on your channel, and I'll tell them about Birmingham and rock music. I'm here to tell you it. So kindly, Andy has given me a little slot here to come and talk to you. So what you're looking at now is Brummie Dave, and I've been there right from the beginning. Well, not quite right from the beginning. Now, I would say, well, I sort of got into music, I'd say, around about 1969, and that was around about the time that Black Sabbath were doing their debut album. Now, Andy's talked a lot about Black Sabbath on the channel. He's said a lot of nonsense, really. He's just tried to make them look like fools, really, buffoons, really. Us Birmingham people, because Andy's not a proper Birmingham. He's not a proper Brummie. He's not at all. For one, he's a bloody posh boy, and for two, he's from down south somewhere. He's not proper Birmingham. He's never bloody... Well, he must have set foot in Birmingham, probably just doing a bit of Christmas shopping. I said to him, get me on. Get the bloody real deal on. He can't even grow a proper bloody moustache, that bloke. I'll tell you anyway. So I would say, it's a long time ago now. I got into rock music around about the time Black Sabbath did their first debut. Of course, I knew all those guys back in then. I knew Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler. I even bloody knew Ozzy Osbourne. I knew them all. And Bill Ward. I knew them, a lot of them. They're good lads. They really were. And he's gone on about them. He's stolen me thunder, really. But what I thought I should tell you about is why Birmingham is a bloody centre of the universe in terms of music. It's not bloody London. It's not Liverpool. Bloody Beatles. Just because, I mean, the Liverpool, what they got? Eh? What they got? Bloody Beatles. Now, they're a good band. There's no denying it. They're a bloody good band, old bloody Beatles. But that's all you've got. You come to Birmingham, we've got bloody loads of bands. And some of them aren't even rock bands. Some of them are other types of music, which I'm not into. But I'll still tell you about them on this video. Because what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to tell you about Birmingham. And I'm going to tell you about the music scene and why it's so important. And why heavy metal comes from here. Because in the end, what did the Beatles invent? Bloody nothing. What did they invent? I mean, who sounds like the Beatles? Oasis. I mean, is that it? I know bands are influenced by them, but they didn't actually invent a style of music, did they? And then once they invented it, they did not refine it. And in Birmingham, we not only invented a genre of music, we've invented more than one genre of music, and we've refined it as well. And you know why? It's because those of you who are not from the UK, from Britain, for those of you who live in other countries, like America and ones like that, right? I'll tell you something. You see, Birmingham is the centre of industry, right? You see my hands here? These hands, the genes in these hands have come from my forefathers who've worked hard in the bloody factories making stuff out of steel. They used to make bloody cars, make all sorts of stuff. It was full of factories, and the black country was even more so. I have great respect from the black country people, I do. Great respect for them, and I'll class them in this group, but I ain't classing anybody from anywhere else, because I was looking on Wikipedia. They got bloody Nick Drake down, who's coming from Birmingham. He's from bloody Tamworth or somewhere, Tamworth in Arden or somewhere like that. So I'll just, my stash needs to be put into place a little bit. It gets a bit unruly when I get all right. Anyway, here's a bloody got Nick Drake. He's a posh boy. You've got to understand that your Brummie comes from a long line of people that have worked bloody hard in the hot, steamy factories of the industrial heart of Great Britain, right? And it gives you a certain attitude, right? When you step out of that factory walking home, right, with all your mates walking along the road, and all you've been hearing all day is clanging metal, banging, clang, and the metal's not light, it's bloody heavy, that's all you hear. Right, my dad used to come in and he'd say to me, my mum, he was his wife, he'd say to me mum, he'd say like, what are we having for dinner? And she'd go, I was thinking to give you some mushy peas and chips. And he went, I bloody love that, because I need to have a bath, because all I've heard all day long is the sound of heavy metal. That's all I've heard, heavy metal clanging away. Right, now, Tony Iommi, he worked in a factory like that, right? And he got his bloody fingers chopped off like that. They were chopped off there like that. This is why they do this. Everyone thinks it's about the bloody devil. It's not. It's a symbol of Tony's fingers. And we all know this, don't you? I've been told it a million times that he made some false plastic fingers. But there was, back then, there was no, he didn't receive any money for it. There was no health and safety then. You got your hand trapped in the machine. That was it. You lost a couple of fingers. That was it. Sent you home. Bit of a Dettol and a bit of a Lasterplast to sort yourself out. Now, we all know the Black Sabbath invented heavy metal, but there's other bands, you see, and Andy's not bloody mentioned them. There's other bands, right? For a start, what about the bloody Spencer Davis group? Because that's where it starts, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit before my time. But the Spencer Davis group, they got Stevie Winwood in that band, and his brother Muff. His brother was called Muff, which I don't know how he got that name. I actually don't know how he got that name. There's a lot of people around Birmingham called Muff. So I don't know what these blokes were doing to get this name, but he got that name. Whereas the main one, Steve Winwood, that he ain't got a nickname, you see. It's weird like that. It just happens. It does. It's like Ozzy got the name Ozzy, and then Geezer got the name Geezer. But Tony, they never came up with one for him. He's bloody strange. And who else was in that band? They had that posh bloke coming on vocals, didn't they, at one point? Spencer Davis group, yeah. And then some of the guys out of that, like Steve Winwood and all that, they went and formed a band called Bloody Traffic, and they're a bloody great band with Dave Mason. I used to know him. I used to know him in the old days, old Dave Mason. He was a mate of mine. He was a good lad, that bloke. And he never talks about Traffic, have you noticed? People say on the comments, boy, haven't you mentioned Traffic? It's after it. They do say it, don't they? Anyway, so I'm the real deal, you see. You can see now. All that bloody impersonations. This is the real deal. Brummie Dave telling it straight. Traffic. I'll tell you another band that was around then. They bloody invented progressive rock. No one wants to give them the credit. They gave it to bloody King Crimson. Comes from down from London or wherever. I mean, did Robert Fripp come from down south with bloody pirate accents, hasn't he? Nah, I'll tell you who invented bloody progressive rock. Moody Blues. The Moody bloody Blues. They're in there straight away with that orchestral album. I can't remember what it's bloody called now. It's a good album now, what are the old Moody Blues? Justin Hayward. He's handsome chap, isn't he? I used to go out with a girl. I used to get out with a girl back then called Beryl. Beryl was all right, but she had a thing for old Justin, you know. And I said, why have you got a thing for Justin for? Because Justin's not his actual name. That's actually a nickname, you know. Now, my mate, he had a best mate, he did, old Justin did, called Richard. Now, Richard is like the long version of Dick, isn't it? So you can guess how he got his name. Now, think about it. Now you know how Justin got his name. But my wife, Beryl, would never listen. She wouldn't even listen to that. She wouldn't have it. She thought he was a handsome chap. And he was very good. That's a nice singer. Moody Blues, they're bloody good. Really good. Good, bad, a bit flowery. Not my thing, because I was more into the heavy stuff like Black Sabbath. Yeah, they were bloody good, old Black Sabbath was. And there was a lot of stuff going on as well, because you've got to be honest, if you come to Birmingham, It's a very multicultural place. There's all sorts of people here. You've got all the Indian chaps doing the Bhangra. There's been a ton of Bhangra come out of Birmingham. Not my thing, but it's good stuff. They jump up and down. Down at the old doll they do with the Bhangra. You've got to check it out. Bands like DCS and stuff like that. Geek the Mega Band, they all come out of the West Midlands and Birmingham. They're not from Wolverhampton, actually. A lot from Wolverhampton. And don't forget who else comes from Wolverhampton, actually Block Switch, is Slade. Bloody Slade. I mean, how many hit records did they have? Slade. This is what Birmingham's like, or the West Midlands. Got a whole host of bands, right? And we got a thriving black community as well here. Good chaps they are. And do you know that Joan Armatrading is one of our finest songwriters? She's probably one of the first lady black ladies to actually come out of Birmingham. She's really bloody good. No one gives it credit. They don't give Birmingham credit. And also, like, I won't go on about this too much, but we had bands like Steel Pulse, reggae bands. We got bands like UB40. We had bands like The Beat. We invented ska. We invented two-tone. Bloody Birmingham's the centre of the world. I'm telling you it. I'm going to call this video, I'm going to say, Andy, call this video Birmingham is the centre of the music world, because it bloody is. I'm here to tell you it right now. You probably sat there aghast. And it all comes from the bloody working class, working in the old factories. Right, it's an aesthetic, as Andy would say. He'd be going on about the aesthetics, wouldn't he? He loves using that word, doesn't he? Have you noticed? And he likes to say it embodies a certain industrial aesthetic. That's what he'd be saying. That gets embodied in the sound of heavy metal. That's what he'd be going on about, all that clever stuff, wouldn't he? I don't do any of that, though. I'll just tell it straight. They used to say, they used to say, you know, Birmingham born, Birmingham bred. Strong in arm and thick in head. That's what they used to say about us, Brummies. And we had funny... we got a sense of humour because we've got people like Jasper Carrot. I mean, his name's funny in itself, isn't it? Isn't it? Can you come back and paint your picture? I always think of that. I always think I'm walking through a field and I thought, bloody hell, that looks like a nice carrot. I fancy a munch on a nice carrot, I do. And then you can't grab it because it's a bit wet and you've got slippy hands, you can't grab onto it. And then you're trying to Jasper Carrot, aren't you? Trying to grasp a carrot. His name wasn't really Grasper Carrot. Nah, he wasn't even Jasper Carrot either. But I knew him. He was mates. I tell you who he was mates with Bev Bevan. Now, Bev Bevan was the first guy. They all go on about John Bonham. He was from Redditch, he was. Not quite a Brummie. And as for Robert Plant, Robert's from... He was from West Brom, that's more Birmingham. Whereas old John Bonham, I knew those two guys. They're good guys, you know. Robert was a bit posh, though. He was, I'll tell you. He was a bit posh. And Bonzo wasn't. He was a good lad, he was. He was bloody good. A bit nuts, though. Bloody used to hit them drums hard, old Bonzo did. We used to call him Bonzo. He had a nickname. We used to call Robert Plant Percy. And I think that's another name like Richard and Justin. He didn't suffer from anything, any ailments like Justin Haywood. I'll tell you that now. He was well known for it in the old days, old Robert was. The ladies used to love him, old Robert. But in the end, Jasper Carrot is best. They went to school together with Bev Bevan. Before John Bonham was doing all that heavy stuff, right? Bev was doing it. He was tuning his drums down, got big drums. And he used to play with The Move. And The Move had some amazing... Trevor Burton on bass, what a bloody player. Carl Wayne on vocals, amazing vocals. And they used to have little Ron Wood. He was a bloody genius, that bloke. I knew him very well, old Ron. He was a bit of a nutter, but he was all right, you know. He was eccentric. And he loved his cellos, he did, old Ron did. And he used to... There was a band called The Idle Race, another one with Jeff Lynne. Bloody Jeff Lynne. How many people do you want from Birmingham? Jeff Lynne. And he wanted to do something. He hooks up with old Ron Wood. And Ron was like, he's off his head. He's going, why don't we do it like, why don't we do it so that we could have a bloody like a rock band like the Beatles, but we could do it with bloody cellos all chugging away. And Jeff's like saying, well, why are we going to bloody do that? He says, I'll do it. All Ron Wood did it. But the thing is, when he joined the band, right, he joins the band with Bev Bevan. They formed ELO. They sold 1 million bloody records, didn't they? We all love it, Mr. Blue Skies. I mean, it's a bit light for me, but it's all right. I like it. Don't bring me down and all that bit living thing. If you remember the story, because I remember chatting to old Bev about a living thing, and he said what happened was, and this is a true story. This is that they all used to live in a house together. Old ELO did, and they got Bev Bevan And Jeff's downstairs. He's trying to think up of a song, and he can't think of one. He just can't think of one. He says, he goes, I've got a writer's block. And Bev's going, well, I want to put my drum into something. And he said, well, I ain't got any songs for you to work on, Bev. I'm just bloody stuck. And so what happens is that Bev goes, right, I'm having a bath. He'd put the water on back then. You had to put the water on about 2 days before if you wanted a bath, and then you had to share the water. And Bev's a very clean chap, you see. He's always very clean. And he didn't like having to get in the bath, you know, and get the later baths, you know. He didn't like it. Ron Wood didn't mind at all. He didn't mind at all, you know. I mean, he was only little. Sometimes he'd slip in with Jeff. They would, yeah. That's when they used to get on. Anyway, I think they still get on now, but they didn't have a big falling out. They always bloody falling out, that lot, over money. It's because they made so much bloody money, you see. They always argued about it, but that's by the by. Anyway, Biv says, I'm bloody fed up. So he goes to have a bath. So he's up there, he goes on to turn the bloody tap, and he looks in the bath, and he thinks, Jesus Christ, bloody hell, what the hell's that? Because there's a great big spider. And it's well known that Bev didn't like spiders. And he starts going, bloody hell, help us, I'm trapped by a massive spider in the bath. Right, Ron Wood runs upstairs, right, and even though he's small, he's more feisty. He is, old Ron Wood. And so he gets like a piece of newspaper, and he's going about to turn the tap on. He's going to drown him and beat him to death. Which is I mean, there used to be some guys up in Birmingham that used to know. They be called the Futures. They're good guys. They own all the nightclubs. I may not talk about them too much. Anyway, get off that bit, Andy. Let's get back onto something proper. So what we talking about, yeah? So Ron Wood's upstairs, and he's about to bash it up. And Jeff Lynne, because he's a sensitive one, because he writes the sensitive lyrics about feelings, that's what Jeff was like. Always on about bloody feelings. And he goes running upstairs, says, don't kill that spider. And Ron Wood goes, I'm going to bloody kill the spider. And then Bev goes, yeah, kill it before it gets us all. And Ron Wood's, don't be so bloody saft. Spider's not going to get you. But we do need to get rid of it because he might have babies and over on the house. And Jeff said, you can't do it. And Bev says, why can't you do it? And Jeff goes, because it's a living thing. And he goes, what do you mean it's a living thing? He goes, it's a living thing. Right? And then it was like a big light bulb appeared above his head. And he went, hang on, I've got an idea for a song. And he runs downstairs and he writes bloody living thing about a spider. That's how they did it. They did. Old Black Sabbath and the ELO. They always writing bloody songs. They're very inspired blokes, creative blokes they were. They were the real deal, ELO. So where are we up to now? Now, I'll tell you something, right? Even though he basically invented rock, I mean, I'll allow Led Zeppelin's input from Robert and Bonzo and, of course, Black Sabbath. But you could say to yourself, job's done, Birmingham. Don't need to do any more, right? But then Judas Priest bloody come along, don't they? Judas Priest, Glenn Tipton, KK Downing, Dave Holland, and Rob Halford on vocals. Bloody hell, what a band they were. I can remember him coming out. Literally coming out. I mean, we always knew he, Rob. You could always tell. He wasn't quite like all the other rockers because, I don't know, he was just a little bit, I don't know, how do you describe it? There's no problem with it. I mean, I think everyone should do whatever they want to bloody do, you know. Behind closed doors, it's none of my business, is it? None of my business what bloody Rob Halford does behind closed doors. Nothing to do with me. Do what he bloody wants, can't he, old Rob Halford? Anyway, he was into, he was, but I don't want to say what he was, because I don't know. I mean, Andy, what can I bloody say? I don't know. Will I get demonetised for talking about the homosexuals? Anyway, that's what he was. I've bloody said it now, haven't I? Don't be so bloody saft, Andy. I've said it now. Yeah, he was. And when he comes out, he's dressing like Robert Plant. He used to look up to Robert Plant. Right, he did. He used to look at him, look up at him. He did. Old Percy. I don't know which bit he was looking at. Everyone used to just look at one place when he used to watch Robert perform. He used to stick it right in your bloody face, old Robert did. He wasn't shy. He wasn't the sort of bloke that had any shame, Robert. He was proud. He was proud of the old wedding tackle he was. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Judas Priest. So, he's dressing like Robert. He's got all the flowery clothes. He's got the long blonde hair. But, he's going out to all the gay clubs there. They're all dressed in like, have you seen them with all the leather and the black moustaches? I mean, who'd wear a moustache like that? You only wear a moustache like that if you're a little bit camp, don't you? I don't think Rob Halford could grow a moustache like this because he's a bit too blonde. You've got to have a good head of thick black hair to grow a moustache like this. I mean, the Black Sabbath guys could push one out in a couple of days. They bloody could, I tell you. It's quite incredible. They all had them. Here in the UK, we had this bloke called Bob Carroll, geez, and he had this puppet called Spit the Dog, right? And it was bloody funny, Spit was. He's got this dog, he used to spit everywhere. and the thing is, with Bob Carroll, geez, what people don't know is Bob Carroll, geez, was going to play in Black Sabbath. But when he came to the audition, they said, you can't bloody come in, Bob. They said, why? He said, I've got this puppet, Spit the Dog. I thought it'd be good. You'd be doing your heavy riffs, and Spit the Dog would be spitting on the. I mean, he doesn't really spit. It's me doing the sound with my voice because I'm clever like that. I'm a ventriloquist. He said, but he said that would be really good. They said, you can't come in the bloody band. I said, why? He said, where's your long hair and your black moustache? You don't look the part. Right, so he goes home to grow his moustache. Bob Carroll G's does, but he's not like Tony or Geezer. They can push one out in about 3 days. By the time he's come back with a moustache grown, it's about 2 months later, and he comes in with a fine bloody moustache. They say it's too late now. We got Ozzy Osbourne, and he turns around and goes, Ozzy hasn't even got a bloody moustache. I said, he's got a PA. That's what Tony said. that got him with Bob, because he hadn't got a PA. All he's got a bloody puppet in a moustache. Anyway, so he didn't join Black Sabbath, Bob Carroll G. What he did instead was to go off and bloody do his puppeting, and he got famous. But the thing is, he still had the look because he spent so much time growing that moustache. He didn't want to get rid of it. He thought, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it as a trademark. And hopefully nobody will notice that I've nicked it off the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. But I knew it. I knew it all along. And I've let the cat out of the bag now. I've literally let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, Judas Priest, they came out, put all the gay leather gear on. His older, they started, then they did albums like Hellbent for Leather and all that. But the thing was, there's a lot of punk rock going on. There was some punk rock going on in Birmingham. I wasn't interested in it at all, because I couldn't bloody play. I like my musicians to be playing. You know what I mean? They've got to be able to play. Judas Priest could play. Anyway, so they took a little bit of the old punk, they took a little bit of the old rock music, Led Zeppelin, they put it all together, and they invented, like, what you could call heavy metal, right? Okay? And all the rock bands, they're hearing them, and then old Brian bloody Tatler, bloody genius, that bloke, he's listening to it all, he's listening to Judas Priest and all that, but he also likes his prog, right? So he decides to put all that together in a band called Diamond Head. And he extends further the genre of heavy metal. There's bloody 3 bands now done it in Birmingham. They're carrying the torch. Metallica bloody copied them, or the thrash bands bloody copied them. Who got the credit? Bloody Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden? Bloody bunch of wimps. Bloody Iron Maiden in their spandex tight trousers. Bloody hell. I couldn't believe it when I saw them. Their used to have really bloody tight trousers, and then that bloody Bruce Dickinson coming, he was a bloody sword fighter, he was. Airline pilot and sword fighter. We don't have sword fighters in Birmingham. Right, not at all. The only sword fighting we have is with a bloody switchblade. Right, that's what we have. Who bloody fights with a sword, who plays heavy metal? That's like a country gentleman, that's who they've got. We had Diamond Head with Brian Tatler on. Turning up to gigs with a packet of cheese onion crisp and a cheese cob. That's what Brian is. Down to earth. They bloody invented the genre. And then you know what happened then? You think it's done? Then you get bloody napalm death. Napalm bloody death. That's about as heavy as you can bloody get, those guys. Bloody hell. Shane bloody Embry. He's the one, I tell you, he is now. Shane bloody Embry. He's a proper bloke, that is, from Birmingham, he is, right? He still lives up in Spark Hill, he does. All the fame, it hasn't touched him. He gets up in the morning, old Shane does, bass player with a... Because, you see, the thing is, they were a bit posh in the early days. They come from Solihull. They did. They came from Solihull in the early days. And they went to the same school as Stuart Lee. They bloody did, the comedian, yeah. They asked Stuart Lee if he wanted to be singer, a bit like Bob Carroll, geez. Didn't work out. He just didn't bloody get it, did he? Nah, not Stuart Lee. I mean, Andy loves him. He's always going on about Stuart Lee. I find him a bit pretentious. I don't get what he's on about. He's always talking to himself. Isn't even noticed old Stuart Lee. I mean, you can't do that in heavy metal, man. Can you imagine the Napalm Death talking to yourself? You're on stage and going, oh, I'm really heavy. I'll scream my head off. Are you bloody screaming your head off? Yeah, I am. Oh, I bet the sort of liberal elites don't get it, do they? And they're talking about bloody liberal elites. You can't talk about liberal elites in bloody Napalm Death, can you? Shane, I don't think Shane was posh, though. He's the real deal. I know Shane very well. Very well indeed. He's a good bloke, old Shane is. He'll get up in the morning, right? First thing he'll do is out the house, right? He goes down Greg's straight away, straight into Greg's. Gets himself, something to eat. Like, I don't know what his choice is. Probably sausage roll. He ain't going to be going... all these katsu chicken bake things. He ain't going to be going for that old Shane. He's straight down the line. Straight down the line. Bloody good bass player. Napalm Death did a lot. But you've got to remember... Right, I was a bit older then, in the 1980s. But they had this venue called the Rum Runner. The bloody Rum Runner. And there's all these bands down there. And there was one band. And they're proper Brummies. But they started to act like really posh. But they ain't got a bloody clue what posh is. No Birmingham, unless you're from bloody Solihull, right? Then you know what you're talking about. This band called Duran Duran. They're big science fiction fans, so they named themselves after the character played by Milo O'Shea. Now, he wasn't from Birmingham, he was from Ireland, but he was a good lad, old Milo was. And his contribution to rock music was basically having the name Duran Duran in the film Barbarella, and then they nicked it from that. And then they all got together. There was Roger Taylor, there was Andy Taylor, there was Mick Taylor. No, he was in bloody Rolling Stones, was he? Not Mick Taylor, he was the other guy. Filthy Animal Taylor. No, he was in bloody Motorhead. Well, that's a good band. Lemmy's a good lad. He's a good lad. Not from Birmingham, though. But he's a good lad. Anyway, who they have in that band then? The bloody Nick Rhodes and Simon Le Bon. Anyway, they thought, we're going to do a band and we're going to be like dead posh. We get all the birds then, go on yachts, going around on bloody yachts. And so they started to dress like little Lord Fauntleroys, they were. Like little Lord Fauntleroys, they got all the filling stuff coming out of here and the white socks pulled up. They were, when they went out on tour, they weren't like taking drugs and wrecking bathrooms. They were getting their crew to drop soft cheese in their mouth. They would sit back like this, like something from France, from pre-revolutionary France. That's what they were like. Old bloody Duran Duran. They were like little lords, they were. Little Lord Fauntleroys. And it bloody worked. It did. I mean, when they started off, they were more into the old science fiction approach with with the old planet Earth. But then they realised and they thought, we're not going to get any birds like this. We should go for the posh thing. Because you see in Birmingham, they like a posh man. That's rare. They're rare in Birmingham if you go out. I mean, a lot of the ladies, they just think if you play for Aston Villa, then they think you're bloody posh. Those lads, you can't do anything wrong. I mean, I'm a bit old and past it now. I don't do any of that now. I just go down my allotment. That's all I bloody do. Now, Andy said I can't just stop around about 1984, which I was planning on doing with old Duran Duran, because I'll stop bloody listening to music after that. But he says they don't like it. You've got to be a bit more contemporary. So it's really hard being contemporary. So I do need to mention a few bands that come in afterwards, because you got like The Beat. Like I told you all this, but then you got bloody Fine Young Cannibals with that Roland Gift. Roland Gift, remember him? They had Fine Young Cannibals coming. They were quite a big band from Birmingham. But then you had all sorts of bands coming in, like from Wolverhampton. You had Goldie doing his drum and bass jungle thing. Oh, Goldie did. He got gold teeth, he had, yeah. Goldie was. He was a bit of a bad lad when he was in Wolverhampton. He was always doing graffiti on the bloody walls, right? He said it was art. I didn't think it was. I think it's a right mess when they bloody do that, the lads. They're going out spraying all over things. It makes it look a right mess, doesn't it? We never did that. Anyway, you had the Goldie. And then quite recently, you had the Streets. Now, that lad Mike who performed the Street, he's a posh lad from Solihull. He is, I'll tell you now. Because he's mates with my mate's mates. He's the son. So I got bloody confused then. He's the son of my mate's mate, right? He was a posh lad, that guy was. Mike was. And then they did have some rappers in that band. I remember them. But they kicked them out. They went, they said, sling your hook. And then Mike, because he's a posh boy, he got his switched on. He gets signed up, old Mike did, with the old Streets. And he started doing this like Cockney accent, doing the rapping. But he ain't got a bloody Cockney accent. He's from Birmingham. He should be talking in a Birmingham accent and rapping in a Birmingham accent. I'm going to mention a couple of rappers now from Birmingham. I'm not into them, but I would like to mention them on the channel because they're good lads. I'm going to mention Juice Aleem, Rock One, and Mad Flow. I want to mention them. They're the bloody Birmingham rappers. They're really bloody good. They're like lads and mates of mine. Yeah, they are. Anyway, I said I'd do 30 minutes. And Andy will be pleased because I've come in smack on bloody 30 minutes. I have with this. I think I've done a good overview, really, haven't I? Did you enjoy that? Brummie Dave's my name. I know it all. I do, yeah. I do, bloody do. Been there, done it. Look at me, I'm real deal. Not like bloody Andy, posh boy from down in Worcestershire. That's where he's from. I can tell you a lot about Andy, right? I can tell you. He's a right saft lad, that lad. Right saft lad. He is, yeah? Really saft. Right, I've watched him on his bloody channel. I mean, he knows a bit about music, I'll give him that. But he covers it with all these bloody big words, doesn't he? Old Andy does. It makes me laugh. And then when he's not doing that, he's doing something bloody stupid. I mean, I watched the ELO one the other day. He got Rob Growcut in now. His dad, Kelly Growcut. They got his chair back here. It's bloody quite impressive. Can you see it in the camera? Can you see Kelly Growcut's chair? It's there, look, right there. I used to know Kelly in the old days, yeah? I'll tell you a fact about Kelly that nobody knows, right? I'm telling you all the facts that you could only know if you're a Brummie lad like me. When he used to go around Birmingham, I could see Kelly come in. He'd go, "Oh, Kelly." And then you go, "Oh, Kelly." Right, that's how everyone would say hello to him. It's like, "Oh, Jeff." "Oh, how's it going, Jeff?" "Oh, I'm doing all right." "Oh, Jeff, that's good, that is." "Oh." Because "oh" means yes. It's more black country, but we all say it, "Oh." So he say, "Oh, Kelly." Right? So they go away on tour around America, right? And they're all talking to each other backstage. And this bloke's there with his kid, because he's a big ELO fan. And he's then calling "Oh, Kelly," "Oh, Kelly," like this. And this lad says, when I grow up and become a rapper, right, I'm going to call myself "Oh, Kelly." And he bloody did, but he was a bad lad, wasn't he? He was a bad lad, that one. He was up to all sorts of unscrupulous things, wasn't he? Oh, Kelly was. But nobody knows. I don't want to go into all that bit there. No, I don't. I won't go into it. In fact, I've mentioned it, but I don't want to go on about too much. Andy said you've got to watch what you're saying on bloody YouTube. Can't say anything nowadays, can you? It's not bloody right. It's like the thought police are out watching you all the bloody time. Anyway, so I watched the ELO video, because that's what I was talking. Do you remember? I watched the ELO, and Andy comes on. He's got a bloody ginger wig and a moustache on, a false moustache. What the hell are you doing, mate? That's so bloody saft. You're saft, you am. Proper saft. I thought, what you're supposed to look like Jeff Lynne. You don't look like bloody Jeff Lynne at all. He looked like bloody Mick Hucknall gone wrong. That's what he looked like. He looked like a porno Mick Hucknall. Nobody wants that, do they? I've made myself laugh now. Porno Mick Hucknall. Nobody's going to be watching that video cassette, have they? VHS all beta, are they? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed it. I'll come back on if Andy lets me on. But I think I'm bloody better than him, aren't I? Put it in the comments. Say it out loud. Say, "Andy, you're too pretentious and full of yourself. Get some down-to-earth proper bloke on like Brummie Dave, the aged Brummie rocker." That's me. I am proper rock. Look at me. Proper rock I am. We're at the end of the bloody video. Done. Finished. That's it. You can go home now. You could do, I don't know, what's Andy say at the end? I can't bloody remember. He told me to say something. Something about doing something. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Something about a subway. Go down a subway. Or a submarine. It was something like that. You wouldn't be going down a submarine. No, you can't have bloody loads of people do that, can you? No, you couldn't have it. You couldn't have that. Not loads of people getting in a submarine, but I could go down a subway. So once you watch the video, you go down a subway and like it. That's it. Go down and find a subway you like and like it. That's what you got to do. Bloody done now. Finished. I don't want to go. I'm enjoying myself. This is bloody good. No one likes doing it. It's bloody good, this is. I'm going to have a look, a mooch round. Do you fancy shall we go for a mooch? You stay here. I'm going to have a mooch. I'll come back in a bit. Right? If you want to go now, this is going to be like a load of rubbish. Right? It's a load of rubbish now. But I'm going to have a mooch around, see what I can bloody find. He's got all sorts of stuff here, he has. Bloody, what's he got going on here? Bloody hell, there's a lot of knobs here, isn't there? Bloody loads of knobs. Oh, Kelly. See, I bloody did it then. Poor old bloke. No longer with this old R. Kelly is. And he's got a bloody little clock here. It's not working. One of the fingers has fallen off. Have you seen this clock he's got? Look at his little clock. What's this for? Look at it. What has he got that little clock for? It must be sentimental, that one there. Oh, bloody hell. Look at this, what he's bloody got here. Watch yourselves. Bloody hell. This is it, you see. There we have it. I mean, Andy, he's a bloody poser, isn't he? I bet he ain't got all the proper albums. He thinks he goes on about how bloody good Black Sabbath is. All he's got is We Sold Our Souls to Rock and Roll. It's a bloody best of. Look at it. It's a bloody best of. Who do you think he's from with, bloody? And what's he got going on here? Where's Montgomery? Who's else that fella? Bloody John Anderson. Right, wimpy stuff he's listening to. What's he got? He's got some records down here. Shall we have a look? See if he's got any good rock in here. Bloody George Benson. What's going on here? I thought he'd have some rock. Has he got any rock here? No, it's all the bloody jazz stuff, that old widdly diddly stuff he's got. He's got a bit of Frank Zappa, I don't mind it. I don't mind Frank. Now, here, this is interesting, didn't mention this fella. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, bit twiddly, but they're good. I used to like them. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, right? Carl Palmer's from bloody Birmingham. He was in Atomic Rooster, wasn't he? And he was in The Crazy World of Arthur Brown, do you remember? Old Carl Palmer, he's from Birmingham, good lad. He got a brother called Steve Palmer, he's a good drummer as well. You know, Steve used to drum. You can't see me, I'll put my head down here. Steve used to drum for a band called Relayer. It was like a spin-off from Yes, I can remember that. And then the nephew, Ian Palmer, he's a bloody good drummer. Bit jazzy though. Here he is, bit jazzy. Not like his dad Cole. Cole can play the old jazz. Bit of prog, don't mind that. Oh, Led Zeppelin he's got. That's not so bad. But I don't know. He's lightweight. I'll tell you now, bloody lightweight he is. That Andy's lightweight. Oh, my leg's hurting now. I've got a bloody dodgy knee, you see. I've got a bloody dodgy knee. It's going down the bloody allotment. You're on your knees all the time down the allotment. Anyway, I'm definitely going now. See you all, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.